everyone, and welcome. Thank you for joining me for this service request in ANZ Transactive Global Training webinar. My name is Natalie and I'm from the Institutional Banking team in Australia. Before I begin, I would like to acknowledge that I'm joining you from Perth, Western Australia, the lands of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. I also acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands of which you are joining from today. I pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging, and to any Indigenous people from the various lands joining us today. Our training webinars are designed to help you unlock the full potential and get the most out of ANZ Transactive Global, our digital web and mobile banking channel. Through a single interface, you can access common services such as cash management, trade, finance, loans, commercial cards, foreign exchange, and data insights. In this webinar, I'll be taking you through how to create and manage service requests in ANZ Transactive Global. Following today's session, I would encourage you to visit our ANZ Digital Services help page for information on the topics that we discuss, as well as revisiting our previous webinars. And I'll show you how to find these at the end of today's session. You will notice that the Teams chat function is disabled. However, you can ask questions using the Q&A tab, which is located at the top of the screen. My colleagues are online and will answer as many questions as possible as we go. Today's session is being recorded. A copy of the video and the question and answers will be published in ANZ Digital Services Help in the coming days so that you can rewatch or share with colleagues who couldn't join us live today. And the last thing before we start, this session is being conducted using a training environment, which means some of the screens and system behaviour may appear a little different to what you see in your live site. So please keep that in mind as we go. For anything outside of ANZ Transactive Global, we will show screens from ANZ Digital Services Help. Service requests in ANZ Transactive Global provide customers and eligible users with a digital connection to ANZ to create, view and manage a range of transactional, channel and account requests, meaning no form or phone call to ANZ to lodge your request. Today I'm going to take you through the service request menu in ANZ Transactive Global and digitally function and show you the digital functionality that is available, including the different request types, including those that require a form and how you can upload these into ANZ Transactive Global. We can access the service request menu from the main menu on the left, and this menu is split into 4 sub-menus, and we'll take a look at these in a little more detail, starting with payments and transactions. Payments and transactions will list request types as the name suggests that are payment or transactional in nature. This is what I would call the landing page, which contains all current service requests that have been lodged. Each menu will have this landing page and a control bar at the top, and we'll briefly take a look at that now. View. By default, View will be positioned with all. However, you can click on this button to show requests that are either requiring approval or you can search by a particular status type. New is where you can lodge a new request, and we'll come back to that in a moment and take you through a few requests. Search. This button provides search fields where you can enter criteria to search for previous transactions or transaction types to search quickly for that request. Group. Just turn that off, sorry. Group allows you to group the requests by request type, for example, if you want to look at them a little clearer. If we select filter, we can enter data into the field above to search for a request by request number, for example. If I know the request number is 11862, I can type that there to easily identify and find that request. Export enables the records on screen to be exported to a CSV file. Refresh refreshes the details on the screen, and any changes I save to my screen, I can click settings and save settings, and it will save for future use. The data shown below is called a grid, and as with all of our screens in ANZ Transactive Global, these can be customised to suit. So for example, we can hide or show columns that maybe are not relevant by right-clicking on any column in the banner and click what you don't wish to see. We can move columns to a preferred location, and we can adjust the column width and size by moving the cursor. Right-clicking again, we can fit the columns to window to fit our screen size, and we can also reset the functions as well. Any changes we do make, we can click settings and save, and that'll be saved for next time we log in here. Let's now look at lodging some new requests, and we'll take you through a couple of examples. When we click new, a complete list of all the requests available to me will be available. Today, I'm going to take you through a trace transaction to start with. So a trace request will provide additional information on a transaction that may have hit your bank account, either a debit or a credit, and perhaps based on the narrative, there is not enough detail for you to be able to identify what the transaction is or who it has made this payment. Select the account that you know the transaction is from, select a date or date range, nominate if it's a debit or a credit or both, enter an amount and click search. Locate your transaction that you wish to query. And if your transaction doesn't show in this field, some transaction types do not. So I will show you in a moment how you can still perform a trace request on those transaction types. Click the transaction in question, and I would strongly encourage you to give your transaction a name, your transaction request a name, so that in the future, if you need to look for this or you're creating multiple on the same day, they're easily identified. Click next and submit. This request will not require any approvals, and this request type is available to customers in Australia. You'll be provided a request number and some next step options. You can either view the request or raise another service request, or you can simply click OK and it will take us back to the landing page where you'll be able to see the request we've just lodged. Let's now look at creating the request for the transactions we couldn't search in that search field. So I'm going to now lodge a transaction inquiry. The same or similar steps will appear. Select the account, enter your date range, again selecting the details to identify the transaction and click search. Find the transaction in question, and here you can enter in the free text box what your request or what you're seeking for that particular transaction. Sorry for my terrible typing there. We'll just leave it at that. Pop in your contact details, and also again give your requester a reference. Click next and submit. And again, this will not require any approvals, and it will be sent to ANZ for processing. Allow for both of those request types up to 30 days for the other bank to provide the additional information. And when we have the additional information or a message back to you, you'll receive an email notification each time that there is an update on your request. And you can simply select your request, and in this supporting documents field, there will be a message with an attachment where you can click read the message and be provided with the additional information. Let's now look at logging a request to suspend a periodical payment. Now, a periodical payment is an automatic transfer that you may have set up to pay a beneficiary in Australia or New Zealand. So therefore, this request type is applicable to customers in Australia and New Zealand. So again, as with all our requests, follow the fields. Those with an asterisk are required to be completed. So for a periodical payment, you would have a serial number that you would be aware of and a payment reference. Enter those along with the amount of the payment and the details of the suspension. So for example, if you know you have a payment coming out next week on the 8th and that needs to be cancelled or suspended, pop in that date and then select the date when it can commence again. Again, give the payment a reference and submit. And this will need approval based on your approval model. Tick the declaration checkbox and click submit. And again, you'll be provided with a a reference number, and next step options. Let's now move on to the digital channels menu. And the digital channels menu allows you to raise requests for users and channel. And this is available to all our users in Australia and New Zealand with the appropriate permissions. Let's click New to create a new request. And these are the request types that are available. Today, we're going to go through a couple of these, and we'll start with the new or add user. So if you have a new user to your organisation who will require ANZ Transactive Global Access, this would be the request type I would suggest you use. It will save completing a form and digitally can be approved and sent to ANZ for processing. Complete the fields. As we mentioned before, those with an asterisk will require completion. Enter all the personal details, contact numbers, and enter what security device type that you will like. There is an information icon here which will give you further information on each device type. You can select one device or you can nominate for both devices to be sent to you. The ANZ Digital Key is our digital app, which is a code generating app, and the token is a physical token that will be mailed to you, which is also code generating. So you can choose between the two. Add the permissions for the user, and you can do that manually by adding them individually, or you can copy from a previous user and amend as required by using the settings button off to the right. Again, give your request a reference. So if you are creating multiple in the same day, you'll be able to identify them easily. Click Next, review and read and tick the checkbox and click Submit. And then this will go through the approval steps as per your approval model. And then once it's fully approved, it'll be sent to ANZ for approval, for processing rather. Let's now have a look at amending a user. So if you have an existing user that is set up in ANZ Transactive Global and you wish to make some amendments, you can use this digital form to do so. You can select up to 10 users in per request. You can amend personal details if required, or you can add or remove tokens and security devices to a user. Amend their settings or permissions. Again, give the request a name. Next. Review and read the checkbox. And submit for approvals again. And these are the two requests we've lodged here today. I'd now like to show you a delete user request. This is one of our newest requests that we have added into ANZ Transactive Global. This used to take up to 48 hours to be processed by ANZ. However, now it is an instantaneous request that is processed in real time. Select the user that you would like to delete. And if there's multiple, you can add more users as well, up to 10. Give your request a name and click Submit. Read and tick the checkbox and click Submit. And there will be no approvals required for the deletion either. Let's now have a look at our accounts and legal entities menu. And here we have a few different types of requests that we can lodge. We can lodge some account and legal entity type requests, and we can also manage some statements and bank feeds. So we'll lodge a couple of those today. So the first one we'll take a look at is the generating an account confirmation letter. And from time to time, your organisation may be required to generate an account confirmation letter. Previously, this was completed by email or phone, and that took up to 48 hours to complete. However, this request type can be quite time sensitive, and so incorporating this into service requests means an account confirmation letter can be completed almost immediately. It's on ANZ letterhead, and so you can download it to PDF. And we'll take a look at a sample of that in just a moment. No approval is required for this type of request, and it is available to our customers in Australia and New Zealand. Click Add to add which accounts you would like the request, the confirmation letter for. Noting our customers in Australia can choose information that is available on the request, and if you wish to view what that would look like prior to the letter being generated, you can view it there. Again, give the request a name. Click Next, read and tick the checkbox, and submit. Again, you've been provided with a request number, and on the landing page, once I click Refresh, our request will be updated with our letter included. We can download both letters at the same time or individually by clicking Download Letter. I have a sample here to show you. And this is a sample of what the confirmation letter would look like. Let's now look at the next request, which is stopping a paper statement. So you might currently receive digital and paper statements and you wish to turn off the paper statements. You can do that by lodging this request. As with all our requests, click Add, select the account or accounts you wish to stop the paper statement for. Give the request a reference and click Next. You can add up to 10 accounts for this type of request. No approvals are required, and this request type is available for Australia clients only. Click Submit, and that'll be sent to ANZ for processing to switch off the paper statements. And I would like to also show you how to amend your statement preferences. So this request type is ideal if you would like to change your statement cycle. Maybe the dates don't align, or you are receiving too frequently or not frequently enough. You can change your date, set your date, and any other details that we have available here. Click Save and Submit or Next, and that will send to ANZ for processing. The last menu I'd like to take you through is the Upload Documents menu. Now, this menu here contains the request types that do still require a form for completion. Hopefully in the future, this list will become smaller, but for now, these are the requests that we will need signatures still on the form. So for example, things like opening an account or closing an account or changing or amending paper signatories. So if we were to lodge a request to open an account, simply click the request type, click the download form. It won't work in my site, but in your live site, this will populate the form for completion. It's a smart form, so as you fill in fields and tick boxes, the form will populate. Arrange to have that signed as you would normally. Save it to your file locally. You can browse or drag and drop the file in here. Give the request a name, tick the checkbox and hit Submit. And as with all our requests, that will then be sent to ANZ for processing. I'd now like to show you how you can view additional information when lodging your requests and if you need to provide any feedback or additional information. So for the new user we created early, there may be the requirement of needing to provide KYC or identification documents. So if that were the case, you would receive an email notification with an update on your request. And then you can come into your request and view the comments and supporting documents field. And here you would see a message with a possible link or attachment. And then you'll be able to upload or add any KYC documents or identification or any additional information as required. And this is an example of what that could look like in your live site. I'd now like to take you through our ANZ Digital Services Help. ANZ Digital Services Help is located in the top right in the application banner, and I've referred to this a few times during the webinar. Simply click on that Help icon and it will open up ANZ Digital Services Help in a new tab. ANZ Digital Services Help is online self-service database of step-by-step guides, instructional videos, and frequently asked questions for our digital channels, including ANZ Transactive Global. The help portal is split into 3 segments: search, popular topics, and support categories. Search, we can search for various articles of interest, and popular topics has some very common topics of interest, such as registering for a webinar or maybe the ANZ Digital Key, for example. However, for the topic we've spoken about today, service requests, we can use the support categories and click on the service request tile. And I'd like to highlight in particular a couple of articles that we have. We have a video which will show step-by-step instructions of how to lodge and manage your service requests, a little like we've done today. There is another article called Service Request Types. This is broken into the 4 menus we've looked at today, and it also goes through and highlights the region that the request is available and if any approvals are required for that request type. And the last article I would like to highlight is our FAQs relating to service requests. In particular, you could look at what accounts are eligible for the service request type, different request types and the region and account, and also access for users. And there is an article here relating to permissions, where you can have a look and look at what permissions each user will need to access the menus required. And that brings us to the end of our service request in ANZ Transactive Global Training webinar. On the page I'm displaying is a list of our upcoming webinars, together with a QR code to register for these upcoming events. A reminder that a recording of the session as well as the Q&As will be added to ANZ Digital Services Help in the coming days, should you wish to revisit anything or share with colleagues. You can get to ANZ Digital Services Help by scanning the QR code that is currently on the screen, or clicking the help icon next time you are logged into ANZ Transactive Global. I hope today's session has been of value, and I look forward to you attending our future ANZ Transactive Global training webinars. Enjoy your day.